Alright guys, I have homework for you guys today. Page 817, 818. Right, these are a lot of word problems. So remember, if you're struggling with them, don't worry so much, but we can look at them together now and see how we're doing. Alright, so first I'm going to look at the little practice one, right? They always give me a practice one on the front to show me what I am doing. Our homework helper. So here is a family, has 3 guinea pigs. Tiger is 8 years old, which is 2 years older than Max. Max is 3 years older than Patches. List the guinea pigs from oldest to youngest. Right, so I'm going to I know I have 3 what do I know? I have 3 guinea pigs. I know their names, Tiger, Max, and Patches. And then I know some facts about them, right? Tiger is 8 years old. Tiger is 2 years older than Max, and Max is 3 years older than Patches, right? If I know how old Tiger is and how much older Tiger is than Max, then I can figure out Max's age. And if I know Max's age, then I can figure out Patch's age. So the ages of the guinea pigs from oldest to youngest is what I need to find out. Use logical reasoning to find the age of each guinea pig. Make a table to help me organize my information. So we're going to make a table. It says, place an X in each box that cannot be true. You know that Tiger is 8 years old. Right, so Tiger here is the oldest. I need to find the oldest, the second oldest, and the youngest. So Tiger is 8 years old. I'm going to subtract 2 years from Tiger's age to find out Max's age, right? That makes him younger. So, sorry, I should have looked better at their little chart to see what they were doing. And I probably would have done it a little bit different than they did. They did Tiger, the oldest, the second oldest, and the youngest, right? I could also put middle. I could put oldest, middle, younger, youngest. So I would probably do something like this to figure out my age of my hamsters. Or, I don't know, I'd just probably go. Here's my 3 hamsters. I know Tiger. I know Max. And I know Patches. My chart's going to be a little simpler than theirs. So Tiger is 8 years old, and I know which is 2 years older than Max. So I'm going to take Tiger's, he is 2 years older than Max, so I'm going to subtract 2 to figure out how old Max is. 6. And then Max is 3 years older than Patches. So to figure out Patches, I'm going to take Max's age. He's 6, and he is 3 years older than Patches. So I'm going to take away Patches' age there. So now, right, Tiger's the oldest, and then comes Max, and then comes Patches. So Tiger is the oldest, Max is the next oldest, and the youngest is Patches. And it told me to list the guinea pigs from oldest to youngest. So here they go. So Tiger is the oldest, Max is the next oldest, and then the youngest is Patches. Is my answer reasonable? Since all of the answers match the clues, the solution is reasonable. Probably if I was writing this, I would have just put them in a list. I would have said Tiger, comma, Max, comma, Patches. I might have even put how old they are. So I probably, if I was putting how old they are, I'd probably write it in parentheses after their name. I'd write 8. I should have done it before I put the commas in. And then I'd write 6, and I'd put a 3. Patches is the only one I can do it the way I wanted to originally do it. And a 3. I'd put their ages next to them. I could even write 3YO, because I don't know if you guys know what YO means. It means years old, like just a little abbreviation. Sometimes people use it. All right, on to the back. All right, here is Mr. Toshi's 5th grade class sold containers of popcorn and peanuts. If each day they sold 25 fewer containers of peanuts than popcorn, how many containers of popcorn and peanuts did they sell in all? Complete the table and solve. All right, so I know they're having a peanut sale here. All right, and just reading this problem, right, it doesn't tell me how many days he sold peanuts and popcorn for, but I have to look at my chart, and they show me there's 4 days here. So Mr. Toshi's class sold peanuts, popcorn and peanuts, Each day he sold 25 fewer containers of peanuts than popcorn. So every day he sold 25 less peanuts than popcorn. So day 21, he sold 225 popcorn. So I'm going to figure out, because it told me to complete the table, and then solve, right? How many containers of popcorn and peanuts did they sell in all? So I will figure that out in a minute. First, I'm going to figure out how many peanuts. 25 less, 225 take away 25 is going to give me 200. 200 take away 25 is going to give me 175. 150 take away 25 is going to give me, 125. And 300 take away 25 is going to give me 275. So now I know I finished my chart. I know how much. All right, so last thing I have to do, how many containers of popcorn and peanuts did they sell in all? So now I have to add up all of these numbers. So I don't know, I could add up 8 numbers together, but I'm going to try and do 2 at a time. I'm going to add them up, add them up, add them up, add them up, and then add up my whole row. All right, so 225 plus 200 is going to be 425 that day, right? 200 plus 175 is going to be 0 plus 5 is 5, 7 plus 0 is 7, 2 plus 1 is 3. And now I'm going to have to add up 150 plus 125. 0 plus 5 is 5, 5 plus 2 is 7, and 1 plus 1 is 2. And now I'm going to add up 300 and 275. So 0 plus 5 is 5, my 7 plus my 0 is 7, and 3 plus the 2 is 575. So each day. So now I need to add these all up together. So there's different ways I could do this to make it easier. So it might be easier for you to do it this way. I will do it both ways. I'll do it and then check my math and make sure I did it right. Right, it is much easier to add, especially when you're new to adding and you're still practicing it, to line up the ones place and the tens place and the hundreds place all together. So I'm going to just try and see if I could do it without doing that. I'm going to say 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5 in the ones place is 20. So I'll put my 0 and then I put my 2 somewhere over here in the tens place. So now I'm going to add the numbers in the tens place. 2 plus 2 is 4, plus 7 is 11, plus 7 is 18, plus 7 is 25. So I put my 5 and carry my 2 over here to the hundreds place now. So I'm going to have my 4 in the hundreds plus my 2 that I carry to the hundreds place. So this will be 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 11 plus 5 is 16, right? I can do 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So altogether I should have 1,615 items that they sold, right? But I will do it this way. So 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5 is 20. 5, 10, 15, 20, I carry my 2. 2 plus 2 is 4. Right, I could add, I know 3 sevens would be 21 plus 4. Right, if you have to do it, just do that. 21 plus 4. That's not a big deal, right? And I could add them up. Somehow I added wrong here, didn't I? Because I added 21 plus 5, and I meant to say 21 plus 4. Oops. So 21 plus 4 is 25, right? I could do that if I need to do that. I carry my 2 over now to the hundreds place, right? Same thing I did there. And now I'll add 6 plus 3 is 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, right? And this is just, I could do it this way anyway, just to double check and make sure I get the right answer. So I'm going to say 1,650 containers were sold, right? If I sold each of these containers for $5 a piece, how much money would I make? $10 a piece would be easier, right? I make $16,500. So I could do half of that to figure out how much, $5 each, if I sold each container for $5. All right, so here is a shelter house. Has a floor area of 400 square feet. If 3 identical shelter houses are built, what is the combined floor area of the shelter's houses? So if I know one of them has the floor area to be 400 square feet, right? If 3 identical shelter houses are built, so I already have one, and I'm going to, when I almost said it the wrong way. So they're going to tell us a shelter house has a floor area of 400 square feet. There are 3, right? Not this one plus 3 more. These are the 3 they built. They built 3 of them. They're all exactly the same. What is the combined area of the shelter house's floors? One of them is 400 feet. So 3 of them is just going to be 400 plus 400 plus 400. Right? I could do 400 times 3. I don't even need to do it this way. As long as you know 4 times 3 is 12. And then I put my zeros back, right? 4 times 3 is 12. And then I have 2 zeros. I will put them back. 1,200, right? I have to remember my unit of measurements. What was I measuring? I was measuring square. I could abbreviate square this way this time. SQFT, square feet, right? I've done it a couple different ways. I've said feet squared with a little 2 on it like that. I've written it out. All right, here's Megan. Megan has $1.10 in dimes, nickels, and pennies. She has 3 times as many nickels as pennies, and the number of dimes is 2 less than the number of pennies. How many dimes, nickels, and pennies does she have? Right, this one always, we're like, what? It just sounds like a mixed match problem. So let's just try and figure it out. Here's my dimes. No, I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to have I'll have my pennies, my nickels, my dimes. No quarters. Here's my total. I'll put total money, a money sign, so they know it's my total. Hopefully I don't need more than 3 tries to figure this out. So she has 3 times as many nickels as pennies. So I'm going to just write a little formula here. So my nickels, so my pennies is equal to sorry, that's not going to work for this purpose. Okay, sorry, I won't do it like that. But I could say this. My pennies is equal to, no, sorry, I'm going to say my nickels is equal to 3 times my pennies. Right, that's how I need to do. She has 3 times as many nickels as pennies. So my nickels is equal to 3 times my pennies. And the number of dimes is 2 less than the number of pennies. So I could say my dimes is equal to my pennies minus 2. Right, the number of dimes is 2 less than the number of pennies. How many dimes, nickels, and pennies does she have? So altogether, she's going to have $1.10. And everything's going to be based on these pennies. So let's say if she has 10 pennies. Let's just try it out. We'll try a number. 10 pennies. So now I have to figure out how many nickels she has. She has 3 times the pennies are nickels. So she's going to have 30 nickels. And then she's going to have, her dimes are going to be, the pennies take away 2. So if she has 10 pennies, she will have 8 dimes. So I need to figure out how much money this would be, right? 8 times my dimes. I need a little place to do some scratch work, right? So you guys can pause it if you need more time. So I'm going to say 8 dimes. I'm going to do my first problem. 8 dimes would be 80 cents, right? 30 nickels. 3 times 5 is 15 plus the 0, right? That's going to be $1.50 in nickels. Right? If she has 30 nickels times 5 cents, 0.5 cents. So I'm going to say 5 times 0 is 0. 3 times 5 is 15. Sorry, I messed up here a little bit because it's going to be 0.5 for my nickels, right? So 0.5 would be how much a nickel is worth. It's worth 5 cents. It's 0.5. So I do 30 times 5, I'd multiply it out, and then I need 2 numbers behind the decimal place. I'm going to have $1.50. And then my pennies, if I have 10 pennies, right, that's 10 cents. So I put my decimal place to separate my change from my whole dollar bills, my cents from my dollars. So I can always already tell this is going to be way too much, right? $101.10. I already know I'm over here. I'm over $2. 0 plus 0 is 0. 8 plus 5 is 13. Plus 1 is 14. I carry my 1. $2.40. I'm only supposed to have $1.10. But I will write my number right here. And now I'm going to smaller amount. How about if we go to half, right? $2.40 and half would be $1.20. But still, right, this isn't cutting this in half, doesn't cut this in half, because it's just the denominations of coins. So let's try again. So I'm going to say instead of 10 pennies, I'm going to have 5 pennies. So if I have 5 pennies, how many nickels do I have? I have 3 times as many nickels as pennies. So 3 times 5 is going to be 15 nickels this time. And if I have 5 pennies, I have my dimes is equal to my pennies, take away 2. So if I have 5 pennies, then I have 3 dimes. Let's try our math now. So I'm going to do my dimes first again. So 3 dimes is going to be 30 cents. I'm going to add my nickels, 15 nickels. And I'm going to do the same thing I did last time. 15 times 0.05. So 5 times 5 is 25, and I carry my 2. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 2 is 7. Right now I already multiplied by that, and I don't need to multiply by that. So I know I'm going to have 75 cents. Sorry, I don't know why I wrote that. So I know I'm going to have 75 cents. And now my number of pennies. I have 5 pennies. 5 pennies is worth 5 cents. Oh, we did it right the second time. I love when this happens. So I'm going to say 0 plus 5 plus 5, especially because you guys are watching. If it took me 10 times to figure it out, I'd be like embarrassed, because I'm a teacher, right? So 7 times 3 is 10. Sorry, 7 plus 3 is 10. Plus 1 is 11. I bring down my decimal place, and I have $1.10, and that's what I was supposed to have. So now I know this is $1.10. I check, I got the right answer. So I'm going to say, how many dimes, nickels, and pennies does she have? And I'm going to write it in the order that they wrote it, since they wrote dimes, nickels, and pennies. And we could write it out. Dimes equals 3. I'm going to put a semicolon to separate my different things. Nickels equals 15. Right? And maybe you've got a different combination of coins. I didn't try any of the other ones, but it could work out. A different combination of coins could still give me $1.10, I'm sure. Right? But maybe not in this combination, but maybe. All right, so 5 pennies. So I'm going to write pennies. Oops, I forgot my I for my pennies equals 5. Done. All right, here's Alana. Alana is 4 years older than her brother Ernie. Ernie is 2 years older than the sister Amelia. Amelia is 10 years younger than their brother Mazo. If Mazo is 17 years old, how old is Alana? So let's just do a little math here. So I'm gonna start with Mazo. Mazo is 17. He is 17. I'm going to go backwards, right? Because I could see that right there. Amelia is 10 years younger than their brother, Mazo. So Amelia is 10 years younger than Mazo. So Amelia, right, if I know Mazo is 17, she's 10 years younger. That makes her 7, right? And I could put YO for my abbreviation for years old. And now I have Ernie. So Ernie is 2 years older than their sister Amelia. So I know Amelia is 7. Ernie is 2 years older than her. That makes him 9 years old. And now we're down to Alana. Alana is 4 years older than her brother Ernie. Ernie is 9. Alana is 4 years older than him. So Alana is 9 plus 4, 13, and I'll even write it out, years old. All right, and last but not least, our last problem. A rectangular garden measures 15 feet by 30 feet. What is the total area in square yards of the garden? So let's convert to yards first. I didn't do that earlier, and it kind of messed me up. So 15 feet, right, 15 feet, if I have 15 feet, there's 3 feet in a yard. So I'm going to take my 15, I'm going to divide it by 3. So 15 divided by 3 is 5, right? 5 times 3 is 15. I would subtract and get 0. So I know it's 5 feet times 30 feet. So now I'll do the same thing, right? There's rabbits in my way here. So I'll do it over here. 30 divided by 3, right? 3 goes into 3 one time. 1 times 3 is 3. Subtract 0. Bring down my next number. It's a 0. How many times do I need to multiply 3 to get 0? 0 times, right? 0 times 3 is 0. Subtract, I get 0. So now I have 10. So I have 5 feet times 10 feet. Oh, sorry. Whoops. I don't have feet anymore. Now I have yards. Right? I'm multiplying yards. Alright, so I have 5 yards times 10 yards, right? I converted it into yards by dividing it up by 3. There's 3 feet in 1 yard, right? When I go from smaller to bigger measurements, right? Yards are bigger than feet, then I divide. Alright, so 5 times 10, right? I just do 5 times 1 and put my 0 back. 5 times 10 is 50, but since I multiply these two, yards times yards, I'm going to have yards squared. So 50 yards squared. Done.